from Seoul, Korea, and welcome to the GSL, the final day of the up and down matches. I'm Tasteless. With me is Artosis. And together we're Tastosis. And this is going to be a pretty exciting day, man. And by the way, we're only like 2 days away from the finals.
That's right.
Cannot
the
wait.
Best finals ever, Tasteless.
Yeah, I think this might be our most viewed finals ever.
Oh, it will be.
It will be.
Schleizerg against MC. Are you kidding me?
It's going to be pretty sick, man. I cannot wait. But enough about that. On to the up and down matches. Of course, the up and down matches are really about these players trying to stay in Code S. Otherwise, they trickle down into Code A. And, of course, when you're in Code A, it's very easy to be eliminated entirely from televised Korean StarCraft 2 because you're eliminated in Code A, you go down to Code B. That sucks.
That sucks.
I'm a very articulate person. That sucks. So hopefully that will not happen to some of your favorite players out there. So, Artosis, do you have any predictions for today?
Oh, yes, certainly. Our first group, SuperNova, Polt, and the best. SuperNova will eat Polt Prime 2-0 easily. He will make him look like he belongs in Code G.
Whoa.
Compared to SuperNova.
That's pretty low in the alphabet, Artosis.
I know. It's below B, that's for sure.
It's way below B.
Here's the thing. SuperNova, this guy is so good.
He's solid, man.
He is
actually
really
looks
good.
Really good when I watch him play. I'm really impressed. I think he's got a lot of potential.
He's by Sayer from StarCraft 1, so he's a reasonably accomplished pro gamer from that game.
And of course, I was just going to say, I mean, this is one of those things where it's like the StarCraft 1 pro gamers have the most success. So it's really surprising.
Polt is someone that nonstop has been having such a hard time staying in Code S. In fact, he fell out of it, got a lucky spot back in. I mean, he won quite a hard tournament to get back in, a little 8-man tournament, but still, he is one of the people that you're kind of like, well, if I have to trade to get MVP back in here, Polt, you're one of my first choices to get out.
Let's take a look at the match results. As you can see from yesterday's games, we had
Alicia and Genius go to Code S, and I'm MVP in the upset of the millennia.
I feel like I live in an alternate universe.
Yeah.
Look at those results.
In the next 989 years, Tasteless, we will not have a bigger upset than that. The upset of this
is
millennia.
Like Sign of the Apocalypse upset to have MVP out. He was, of course, our champion from Season 4.
Then we had OGS Top show that he was by far the top in that group. TSL Rain showing that he was by far the second in that group. And poor Hyperdub, he's going to go down to Code A.
I know, poor guy. He's had a pretty bad beat, just kind of like Leonok Foyu. Now,
hard time.
On to day number 4, Group G, we're going to have SuperNova, Polt, and the best. Group H, Lacira, Bonbon Zenith, and Rainbow, who was formerly used the ID, which was not as good as Rainbow. It was Hope Torture.
Yeah.
Thank God that ID's gone. Woo. I hated saying that ID. That Rainbow's better.
It is.
Yes. So, just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Special thanks to our sponsors at Intel, G-Skill, and Coca-Cola. You know, without events like this, I know there's, those guys that are all purist about, esports and stuff like that, but really, without sponsors like them, we wouldn't have awesome events like this. We wouldn't have a studio like this. We wouldn't have those booths back there. And
we wouldn't have these nice headsets.
We would not.
We wouldn't have one huge monitor and one tiny monitor. Probably have 2 tiny monitors.
Yeah, actually, we probably would. We probably have no camera. Just be you and me talking in front of just talking, actually. Just be you and me in a bar somewhere. All right, let's take a look at the players now. We have first player.
SuperNova knocked out Squirtle, Alive, Killer, Alicia, and barely lost to Lucira. You kidding me, Tasteless? A lot of those players are Code S quality. In fact, Killer's already in Code S. Alicia's already in Code S. He had no trouble tearing them apart. Alive is someone who's been in Code S. Squirtle is someone who possibly could be in Code S.
He all killed in the team league.
Yes.
I mean, that's actually pretty damn scary.
Might be the best Terran vs. Protoss player in the world, and certainly one of the best Terrans in the world. No doubt about that. An amazing player. One of the new Terrans on the block, Tasteless.
And now we're going to see if he's good enough in Terran versus Terran, because, of course, he's going to be against Polt.
I guarantee that he will beat Polt.
All right. This is a season of upsets, Artosis.
Yeah.
Be careful. You are in a bizarro world where MVP is actually in Code A.
That is true. But MVP fought some really high-end people, whereas Polt is on the lower end of Code S. Would not be surprised if he goes down to Code A. He's a good player, but, he's just hasn't shown that flair. He hasn't shown that third base, He's kind of sticking to his old style that got him to where he is, the two-base, chill, make a bunch of units, try to kill your
sometimes
opponent.
one base if it was Season 1. He's graduated to a two-base style play. And, of course, our third player, the loser of our first best of three, is going to have to face this guy, the best Foyu.
Now, he fell out of an extremely hard group you see there. OGS Nada, Hung and Prime, and OGS Top.
Yeah. No shame in that.
Yeah, he's not one of the top-tier Terrans in Code S. We're going to have to see how he does. That's a hard group. He versus Polt in the second match after SuperNova eats Polt's babies. That should be pretty good.
That should be pretty interesting indeed.
Yeah, that'll be quite telling about the best.
Absolutely. By the way, please encourage your friends, if they haven't already, to get the premium services, purchase that ticket. The money that you pay there does go to improve our stream. And I know some of you guys are like, oh, but Tasteless, I'm so poor I had to steal batteries from the library to power my electric blanket. Well, I'm sorry, but $20 is a reasonable amount of money. That's what we're charging now, right? I think so. I'm
pretty
get it for
sure
free.
It's $10.
Is it $10?
Yeah.
It's even less money. You can get two premium tickets for that. There you go. Yeah.
Just buy two of them.
Yeah. So please do that. Obviously, the logistics of broadcasting a TV show like this around the world is pretty damn complicated. So,
That's why we let John take care of it.
That's why John actually is just in the back unplugging and plugging stuff in, and that's why we don't see him
those
as much anymore.
operators from like the 50s and stuff. You're like, give me the president. They're like, hold please, and they're like going like this.
Yeah, doing one of these.
John
things.
is actually one of those guys.
He's one of those guys running the internet. John
He's even got his hair up in a bun.
Yeah. We haven't actually had John on camera in a while. He's been very busy at the office, but he does say hello, guys. All right, let's take a look at our players now. Before we look at our sexy studio and the up-and-down manhole cover, I'm waiting for Donatello to pop right out of there. Well, that's you, isn't it?
I'll battle him.
Because you're
I'm good with a bow.
All right, head-to-head. OGS SuperNova against Polt Prime. SuperNova coming up from Code A.
This is going to be a very hard match for Polt Prime.
Well, Polt Prime is basically barely hanging on to Code S.
Yeah.
He is really almost out of his league.
SuperNova is literally destroying some of the best Code S players that are coming up, such as Alicia and Killer. So this is just, Polt has his work cut out for him. Let's just leave it at that. See if he can do it. The first map, Tasteless, Tal'Darim Altar. You ready?
I'm ready. So you guys at home, get ready for some awesome TBT action here. Polt, he's been in the GSL for a while, but he's starting to get outclassed. Can he take on this new blood? Let's find out here at the GSL with Tasteless and Artosis. Tasteless is the casting Archon. Let's do this. Over here in the upper right, coming from Code A, but dominating so many Code S players already.
OGS SuperNova.
And it came out fast, man. You never know. It was like,
Used to be known as Bisair in StarCraft 1 if you're an avid fan of that.
over here in the bottom left, he's been with the GSL for a long time, but he's getting harder.
Polt Prime win.
I'm actually off to a bad start here. Excuse me. He's been having a harder and harder time with each successive GSL.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it, man. I mean, early on, right when we started, I believe Season 1 actually, I was like, oh my god, this guy, he has some great strategies. He was one of the first people using Banshee Marine rushes in TVP. He was doing some great matches back then, and nowadays, Polt has just been falling off and off and off. Just, he hasn't really been keeping up with all these huge macro players.
Yeah.
He seems a bit outclassed.
So this map is very, very big. It makes containing your opponent near impossible. You have to do what we would refer to in Terran vs. Terran as soft contains instead of hard contains. Hard contains is where you're building a lot of turrets. There's basically more structures involved in the contains. Soft contains are more mobile.
Yeah,
when things heat up, you just pick up and leave.
That's a good way to put it. The hard contain is like, you aren't breaking this. Soft contain is like, I'm buying time.
Yeah, I mean, hard contain is really about you're investing in making sure they don't have any mobility. Well, on a map this big, you don't really get to contain. I mean, it's hard to reinforce the contain.
It's pretty impossible to actually do a hard contain on this map. I can't imagine a situation in which you'd be able to set that up where the game wasn't already over.
Yeah. And Artosis, of course, from StarCraft 1, actually one of the best Terran versus Terran players out there, actually. You were very good at Terran versus Terran.
I was Tasteless.
And did you actually feel like your hard contain, your soft contain style was better?
I used both.
Used both?
I used both,
well.
yeah. Just whatever situation it called for, whatever map it called for.
That actually, back when I played random, it used to be one of my favorite matchups, but then people really started to figure it out, and I'm like, well, I actually can't play random and still be good at Terran versus Terran.
Yeah.
Because
Terran
there's
versus
so
Terran.
much stuff that can go on in that matchup.
It was actually such a beautiful and complicated matchup in StarCraft 1, and it's becoming that in StarCraft 2 as well.
Yeah, it's just as complex in Star 2. So it looks like
he actually
Polt
did not
Prime,
see that command center.
And by the way, very uncharacteristic of Polt Prime to expand. Then again, this map is pretty big.
Yeah, it's a good opening for him. Now it looks like our friend Mr. SuperNova going to go for Blue Flame Hellion drop here, most likely. Is getting a quick Reaper as well. Did not see Polt's expansion.
Surprised he sent that SCD after seeing that. He was like, wait, are the Marines there? He's like, all right, I'm going to go in. I got this.
I guess if you don't micro him, somehow he doesn't see it. Could work out.
Maybe the Marines don't have their contacts in. My eyes are so dry.
Inside that suit?
You know what's actually crazy is I have 20/20 vision still. All I do is play computer games.
Me too.
And commentate games.
We're lucky, Tasteless.
I don't know.
Blue Flame on the way. Reaper going out. I like the addition of the Reaper. I actually haven't seen anyone go for a Blue Flame Hellion drop. Adding a quick Reaper.
Actually, this is what everybody should be doing with Blue Flame Hellion drops, is getting a Reaper. Why would you not do that?
Yeah, and by getting it, it may make your opponent think, whoa, especially right now because no one's doing this exactly.
I would think he's fast expanding.
What is this? Yeah, exactly. And you get a couple SCVs, that's great. Look at this. Now he knows, okay, there's an expansion. Okay, there's some Marines. Ton of information gathered already. Completely worth it thus far.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally worth it.
Now he's just going to either control a watchtower or try sneaking somewhere else. It doesn't even matter. He's gained so much information. He knows his opponent's build. All his opponent knows, you have 2 Marines and a Reaper. That's all Polt knows right now.
I actually really love the Reaper addition to this build.
I do too.
To be honest, when I Blue Flame Hellion drop, I don't get the Reaper, but now I'm looking at this, I'm thinking this makes perfect sense.
I actually, right before we started, I was like, hey everyone, on Twitter, I was like, hey everyone, watch this. Watch SuperNova. He's the Terran of the future. And already, he's adding something into an old build that is just beautiful. This is awesome, man. I'm so happy to be seeing this.
This only delays the drop by, maybe like 15 seconds or something. Is that the Reaper build time?
Not even, because the Tech Lab builds so quick, it doesn't actually stall it out at all because you actually wait for the starport to finish to go.
So that's really damn good.
Yeah, no, he just added it in. It just costs the amount of a Reaper. So the drop is on the way. He's getting his Cloak. He's getting his Banshee. Great follow-ups both.
Now this drop has to do damage or SuperNova is behind.
Yep.
Pulp is sort of going for a bread and butter fast expand build. And
bread and butter?
Bread
I like garlic bread fast expands, but,
I'm a bread and butter guy.
Are you?
Yeah.
You're so middle America.
Now we have the drop coming up here. The position of these structures might make it a little bit more difficult for the Hellions to chase the SCVs. We'll see.
Yeah, it's pretty good building step so far by Polt. And here we go. Polt, very quick reaction speed. Excellent right there.
Now he's going to have to pick up. He cannot do any more damage here. And I got to say, that was a failed drop.
Yeah, so far, but he still has all the components of the drop and the units in it. So we'll have to see if he can get something else done. The Banshee is on its way, Tasteless.
Now what he wants to do is attack with the Banshee over here. The shot and scream, he just got to shot him. And at the same time, simultaneously drop back here, which he's doing.
Well, there's a lot of units there to stop him. And in fact, actually, SuperNova just lost the Banshee at the expansion. He was not paying attention and lost it. That's pretty big, Tasteless, but on the other hand, Polt has not been keeping up his SCV production. He's actually at 29 SCVs against 33 from SuperNova. So somehow, some way, despite the drop failing and the Banshee dying, he still has more SCVs.
I can't believe
he has
that
more
actually
tech.
is true.
Yeah, no,
it's actually a sign of
that's
Polt
Polt's
is
weakness.
actually mechanically inferior to SuperNova is what that means.
Well, and here's the thing, that happens. There's players that are great mechanically that are mechanically inferior to someone else, but he's by Sayre. He's a StarCraft 1 legitimate pro gamer that played in Pro League. That means his mechanics are going to be second to none. He is going to be amongst the top in mechanics, and he's already showing that. He's keeping his production up nonstop here.
And I want to hammer this home because this can be confusing to our viewers. When you see this, you think, well, that doesn't make any sense. Why is SuperNova ahead, even though what he's doing isn't working? It's because he's actually just making stuff more quickly than his opponent.
Yeah,
and
he's staying on top of everything. He's not losing any production time.
Yeah, and that's really when you have, I'm sure everybody who's played online has had this experience where you're like, well, I feel like my strategy was right.
Yeah.
I feel like it was smart.
And it might be.
And it might be, but if your opponent can just make stuff quicker than you.
Yeah, macro is the most important thing, the higher level you get.
It's basically the hardest thing out of any game ever made is to just kind of keep the ball rolling. It's harder than playing the hardest song in Beatmania while simultaneously playing the hardest song on DDR. Just imagine that sight.
Yeah, it's true. Flash your data to do that, Tasis. All right. The Banshee, only 3 kills. Cancels his cloak. Smart move. Right now, we do have 87 supply for SuperNova, 82 for Polt. Unit count, 46 SCVs for SuperNova, 40 for Polt. So he's ahead, Tasis. He's just staying ahead. And in fact, Polt is, we see Marine Siege Tank with a few Banshees for harassment from SuperNova, which is very, very solid. Whereas Polt, we've seen, Tasis, is going Marine Marauder Medevac. And that means, he's trying to pick up this style of Marine King. And, it obviously makes for very interesting games, and this is a very big map. So, it's an okay choice here. This is definitely a map where this is going to be a lot better than some other maps. And here we go, Blue Flame Hellion drop.
He's going in there. This could be a good angle. He just has to avoid contact with the Marines.
6 kills and 4 kills on those Hellions. Pretty big.
Another snipe there, so that's up to 5. Yeah, I think the Marine King Prime style of mass infantry is actually perfectly fine on a map that's this big.
Yeah. And that Banshee getting even another kill.
Nice. Oh, I said nice, but then I got killed. Not nice.
By the way, these Blue Flame Hellion drops do so much damage, Tasteless. Even when they're failing and they just hit a few SCVs, later on you drop again. And that's so bad. Right now, Polt at 38 SCVs against 55 of SuperNova. So even though he has that third command center very quickly, right now SuperNova actually has the better economy.
Yeah, Polt, I got to hand it to him. He's doing a really good job this game, much better than I expected.
He's taking that third base. He's protecting himself from the drops as much as possible, stopping Banshees. He's playing a much better game than what we've seen from him in the past.
He's got some nice infantry upgrades here, 1-1. Let's just check the supply here. So they're basically even at about 130 supply.
That factory will be going down.
One thing about seeing a floating factory to help out the noobs at home is that always means your opponent's going mass and Marine Marauder Medevac.
Yeah, in this matchup.
Yeah.
More and more barracks being made.
Now the goal here for our Blue Terran is to not actually engage the Red's army, but instead engage wherever his army isn't.
Yeah. Or sometimes catch SuperNova when he's not siege.
Yeah. If he's like unsieging, that's great. You stim and run in there.
And in fact, that's what he's going to do. But the siege goes up, and splatter goes the Marines.
Well, I gotta say I'm a bit shocked he actually ran into those siege tanks there. I mean, the siege tanks are all the way to the far left, so it's not like he's gonna be able to snipe too many of them.
Yeah, the thing is you want to snipe them and get out before the volley comes.
Yeah.
And if you can't kill it, that's fine. Just run away, man. You don't want to lose a huge amount to that volley. But SuperNova, is he going too quickly, Tasis? He might be.
SuperNova has sort of, this is not even a contain, he just has stake in this position, but it's not that useful, especially considering the direction in which our Blue Terran Polt is expanding.
And in fact, Polt moving across the map a little bit here. I like how both of them have 2 watchtowers, keeping an eye on each other, playing a positional game. So with SuperNova reinforcing his army, 4 more Sea Chinks, 4 more Marines. That makes it much, much stronger.
Another little drop here by SuperNova. He wants Polt's army to relocate.
Polt?
We're going to have a sandwich here.
Yeah, he is actually about to make a SuperNova sandwich, but will it be too hot for him?
Let's see.
Just a little drop there.
He really should have left the medevac over that. He could have killed up much more with the Marines and Marauders being healed. All right. I don't know if he should attack that.
That's a lot of siege tanks, Tasteless.
Yeah.
That is a difficult decision to make, attacking that. But I like his positioning, because if he can stop reinforcements with that, eventually he will be able to attack it and take
Exactly.
it. And that's what you want to do.
Here will be a great moment for him to stim and run in, but it's too late. He scans. Oh, okay.
Oh, here we go!
He should not be doing this.
Well, we're going to have to see. A flank is so good against siege tanks. And
oh, wow.
Prime.
I will eat my words. I'm so sorry.
No,
I was dead wrong. I thought the angle with the
that was actually, it was perfect timing by Polt. He waited. He has 2-2, as you see. He had the good spread, the good flank. And I'm impressed, man.
He just made it look like a nub.
Polt is playing a very strong game here. Much better than we have seen him play before.
Well, this is a new Polt that we got here. Now he's moving up. These siege tanks better siege up pretty quickly.
Right now, 60 SCVs against 50. SuperNova still in the lead. Supply-wise, 130, 155 with Polt in the lead. So his army is vastly larger. And in fact, will he be able to keep this alive?
Oh, he needs to get that siege tank. He does before the first volley gets out. Now he can actually relocate behind this command center. And Polt is taking a massive lead here.
Yeah, Polt's doing a great job, but a drop there. Trying to do some damage. Does get taken out. Now, there are some interesting intricacies here, Tasteless. For instance, Polt right now, he's keeping Marine Marauder. He has had a lot of Marauders in here to help take out siege tanks, but Marines are more cost-effective against Marauders than Marauders are against Marines. So,
he could get a snipe here on this.
Yeah, I think in fact he might.
And it's actually
does go down. And that is painful for SuperNova indeed. SuperNova is only on 1 mining base right now against the 2 of Polt. But let's not forget, this game absolutely not over because he does have siege tank tech. It is more cost-effective normally against Marine Marauder, but Polt is doing a great job moving around the map. He's not engaging. Like, for instance, if anyone recalls the group against Jinro, where Polt was like, oh, I don't know, Jinro gets lucky to be here and then gets owned. He was trying to play the same style, but he was playing it very, very poorly, whereas right here, he's looking like a Marine King Prime Tasteless. He's all over the place and being very, very mobile with it, which is exactly what you need to do.
I'm surprised Polt hasn't taken a 4th base, considering his massive lead. I guess we'll see that pretty soon here. You know, I got to hand it to Polt. You know, you and I are both very critical of these guys when they're just not bringing the A-game here, but and we've definitely been critical of Polt.
There's so many good players out there, Tasteless.
This
you
is
gotta
like
put
such
up
an improvement.
Go down.
Yeah, or get out.
Yeah, no, Polt is definitely showing a play that we have never seen from him before, but
that
again,
is a lot of siege tanks.
It is that. That is quite a line. Not something that's going to be broken easily. The problem is actually getting across the map with that. That is something very, very difficult. And Polt is actually not planning on switching up his tech. Sometimes we'll see Marine King actually start tanks eventually with this build, but it doesn't look like Polt wants to do that. Now
oh my God, we totally jinxed that.
Crazy.
He's got another drop coming up here, but here, again, this is why you want to do it. This mobile infantry style. And he wants to run before siege mode takes effect.
Perfectly done.
Polt might try to go for a kill. I don't think it would be the best move, but
yeah, no, that would not be a very good move, in fact. And yet another draw.
Well, here's the problem: is Polt could start expanding, and every time, this is exactly how you want to do it with a cell. Every time SuperNova leaves, he just runs in there and kills the expansion.
Yeah, you're completely right, Tasteless. That's exactly how he should play. That's kind of how he is playing. In fact, I would love to see Polt just throw up a couple more command centers right now. Just in completely different areas. Throw up random turrets to catch
Turn them into planetaries so they can't really be dropped very effectively.
And
Stim! And a little bit late on the retreat there, but
Just slightly. He does have 3-3 at this point, so he's being very, very cost-effective. And you're not sieging, you're playing like Nada right now. And it looks like he's going to run in here against these unsieged tanks, and suddenly...
Oh, damn, that is so many units.
Polt
That's it,
making
GG.
me look bad, Tasis. Takes game 1. Unbelievable.
Damn, man,
That
Polt
was
is
some
pretty good.
It's like Marine King has taken over Polt's body.
I want him to pull out the mask Mission Impossible style, and it's just Marine King in there. You know what's actually funny is, who's in the studio right now is Marine King Prime.
Yeah.
And he was actually talking to Polt.
He was rubbing his
Before,
shoulders, man.
yeah, he's rubbing his shoulders.
Well,
get
I
those
tell
creep
you
tumors
what.
out of there.
Polt has been working his buttocks off, Tasteless, because SuperNova is an elite nerd baller of Terran. He is so strong, but Polt he got him, man. Here's where it went wrong, because things tumble out of control pretty quickly against Marine King style if you lose your first group of tanks. What happened was when he was sitting there siege on that high ground and he got surrounded, what do you do there, Tasteless? That is a hard position to come out of. Polt did very well doing that. Really no reason for SuperNova to be right there at that moment.
Our next map is Crossfire, so let's get ready. It's another awesome map. It's big, it's open, and it is similar to Tal'Darim Altar. Well, actually, no, it's not. What am I saying? I said it and then right as it was. Have you ever done that? You ever saying something and right when it's coming out of your mouth, you just want to grab it and be like pull it back in? You know what I'm talking about?
Is that the sound of pulling it back in?
I get Crossfire and Crevasse mixed up sometimes. All right, let's get this going.